they can catch the recording. So welcome to our team call. I know I haven't had we've been having coaches go live for our team calls the last 2 weeks. So tonight we actually have a guest speaker on a call with us tonight. So I'm really excited to get back to our team calls. I know we were just talking, the summer is a little crazy with people coming and going and having their evenings full with their family. So I appreciate everyone who is on, and I'm sorry for this look. I have sweat dripping a little bit everywhere right now because I just finished my workout, but that is okay because you're not going to see me much. You're going to see Kristen. So I'm just going to introduce you guys to Kristen real quick. So Kristen and I just met each other kind of through social media recently because we are in a mastermind group together. And I was really excited to be a part of that because I'm surrounding myself around leaders in the company, and I was really nervous to be a part of that mastermind group because I'm like, do I even fit in there? I didn't know any of those coaches personally. So it's really cool to be able to start to get to know different coaches and their style of coaching, because I feel like there are so many different ways you could coach. And, you know, it's nice to learn other ways of coaching rather than just your upline and upline. So Kristen is an 11-star diamond coach. I'm just going to try to mute. If you guys jump on, just try to make sure you mute yourself. Kristen is 11-star diamond coach. She's a 3-time elite, which means she's been at the top 0.5% of 0.01% of the company. It's the workout for the past 3 years. And she has been a Success Club 10 legend for the past 67 months. Is that correct?
Yes.
Awesome. That's like a lot, guys. So 24 months is what they really keep track of as a legend. So she's like way beyond that. And she's also a mom of 4, which is like, holy man. I only have one girl, so I'm a boy mom. I couldn't imagine having 4 girls. Alicia could imagine because, you know, she has a lot of girls too. And then what do we have? Military wife. So that is where her and I kind of connect to, and along with Alicia on this call, because she also is a military wife. We have a few military people in here. So she's going to be talking about the heart behind social media. And I'm really excited about this because social media is our thing. It is our business. And if we aren't using social media, I mean, you can talk to people face to face as much as you can, but social media is like our way to really help people outside of our community. It's personal trainers. For instance, I was a personal trainer. I worked at a gym and I love helping people, but you can only help so many people. So social media is such an amazing thing that we can utilize to really grow our business and just, again, do what we are being called here to do, which is change lives and help so many more people. So without further ado, I'm going to let Kristen talk so I don't steal anything she says.
Yeah, social media is such a big topic, and we could probably talk for hours on it, but it is something that I really take to heart, which is why I wanted to talk about the heart behind social media, because honestly, you guys, it's so easy for us to let fears, of what other people are going to think, creep in and keep us from wanting to share. And so my hope tonight is that we get rid of some of those fears and really change your mindset, when it comes to how we share and what we're opening up about. So just a little bit about me. Like she said, I am a mom of 4 girls. It's kind of funny. My husband he's working on the other side of Houston this week, and we're just staying with my parents because we're just hanging out for summer and doing some fun things. And my dad, a while ago, I was like, so Dad, I'm going upstairs. I'm locking myself in a room for a team call. You got the kids? And he's like, can I go lock myself in a room? So I'm like, yeah, if you take the kids with you. But they're a great help. And I'm so blessed to get to live by them now because we have been moving around for many years, I think 6 times in 12 or 13 years. So we are finally back by our family, which is a piece of my story I'll tell you guys in a minute. But I got started with coaching 6.5 years ago, which blows my mind. I've been doing this long. It goes by really fast. And I absolutely love being a part of this community. I cannot imagine not having this in my life, especially being a stay-at-home mom of 4 and a military spouse. This has been something that's been constant for me. But the constant moving, I still have this. I still have the friendships through coaching and my fitness journey. You know, I don't have to stop for a few months while we move across the United States. My workouts go everywhere. But I started as a coach 6.5 years ago because my friend that I met when we were stationed in Japan, we were actually teaching body pump together. And I remember walking down the street with her after we taught a class and we were heading back to our military base housing. And she was like, yeah, I signed up to be a beach body coach. My friend Summer, which was Summer Tucker, many of you may know her name. She's like, yeah, she's doing this and she's making like $2,000 a month working from home. And, you know, now Summer makes a lot more money than that. But, you know, $2,000 a month, if you think about, you know, maybe when you first became a coach and someone was telling you about the coaching opportunity, that amount to me was like, oh my gosh, like that's life-changing. But it was also one of those like, oh, that's life-changing for her, but I don't think that I would ever be successful at that. It's great for her, but not for me, right? Which I'm sure many of you could relate to that. So she planted that seed at that time, and I continued to watch. And she says, I don't remember all the times that she invited me, but she said she invited me like 3 or 4 times before I finally said yes. And she came back around to me. I was like 7 months pregnant or something. And she mentioned that coaches who were married to military spouses could sign up for free. And so I was like, oh, it's free? Okay, I'll look at it a little bit more. And I had been watching her. I was seeing what she was doing. She looked like she was having fun, putting out lots of energy on social media. And at this time, I had now moved back from Japan into the United States. We were stationed in Florida and very pregnant with my second baby. And we were stressed, you guys, financially. So that was the other side of my story was we just did not, we were barely making ends meet, living paycheck to paycheck. I had quit my teaching job after I had my first child and decided to become a stay-at-home mom. That was what we had always said we would do. Of course, you know, I'm sure many of you could relate. Once you go from 2 incomes to 1, it was totally changing our lives. And so I really had that desire to be able to travel back home and take vacations with my kids and be able to visit our family. And it was breaking my heart that my husband was like, we don't even like the money just to pay for the gas to drive from Florida to Texas just was not in the budget. So I was looking for something. And that's when Kelly came to me and asked me about coaching and said, hey, we're also starting this P90X challenge group after you have your baby. You should do it with us. And I was like, you're nuts. P90X, like I'd seen the infomercials and thought there's just no way. That looked really tough. And she just encouraged me and said, you can do it. You know, sometimes you just have to speak belief in the people and tell them, look, we're going to do this together. And so I signed up as a coach and had no clue what it was. I didn't even know what network marketing was. I didn't know what Beachbody was. I just had heard of P90X. She said, come be a coach with me. So I signed up. And I just started following directions. She put me in a challenge group. I started posting in there. She said, go do this training. I was like, okay, I'll watch the videos. And she said, all right, go start a challenge group. So I started a challenge group. I just started taking ownership of it. And as I was doing the workouts, that's when my belief in what I was doing really grew, because in 3 months, I lost all my baby weight. I had abs. I was like more fit and stronger than I was even before pregnancy. So I was a believer. And things just took off after that. Within like 2.5 years, I was able to replace my teaching income. When I first came into it, though, it was really just the thought of maybe I can make an extra $200 to $500 a month. Like that for us meant putting our kids in dance classes and being able to go on a date night. So it really started small, but over time, my vision just grew by listening to team calls like you're on tonight, by listening to the National Wake Up Call and plugging into the community. My belief and what was at my fingertips, what the possibilities with coaching, I just was like, you know what? If they can do it, I can too. And I just kept going. So here I am 6.5 years later and, you know, making multi-6 figures, which blows my mind. And my husband now, you guys, is going to be dropping his resignation to get out of the military like by the end of this month. I'm like, what's your goal date? He's like, August 1st. So that's exciting. And while we've enjoyed that part of our life, like I said, we are in Texas now by our family. We don't want to move. And to have the freedom to say, it's okay. He can walk away and he'll probably find some other job to do. But it's not the stress of, well, shoot, what are we going to do financially in the meantime? We're good. So I'm so excited that we have that freedom now. Okay, so enough talking about my story. I'm going to do a share screen here with you guys. All right, so my slides, I am not a graphic designer. My slides are simple, but here you go. So how many of you guys wake up in the morning, or have you ever had the thought of, I just don't want to post, I'm tired of sharing my life, what are people going to think, are they going to judge me? I mean, I still will have those thoughts creep in, like, especially if I'm talking about coaching and, what this is doing for me financially. I get nervous, like, what are people going to think? Are they going to judge me? But I do it anyway. And here's why, you guys. I really believe that all of us, we're here for a reason. You became a coach for a purpose, and you were put here on purpose. And so the purpose of that is to serve and to inspire other people. And so when you can change your mindset about how you're using social media, that it's not about you, take the focus of it not being about you. It is about the other people on the other side of the screen. Who are you talking to? And they need you on your A game. You're using this as a platform. It's a free platform, you guys, that we have access to be able to inspire other people. But it does take being intentional with our time. I find that a lot of my coaches, where they start to feel frustrated with social media, it's because they're not intentional with their time, or they are spending too much time comparing themselves to other people. So we're going to talk about that too. But a lot of times it feels like such a time suck and draining because you're on your phone all the time and your kids are driving you crazy, or your kids want to spend time with you, right? And so we have to be very intentional about the time that we spend in the business. I heard this funny reminder recently. Just when you signed up to become a coach, did Beachbody make you sign a contract that said, okay, now you must be on your phone 8 hours a day? No. And so, but we come on as coaches and sometimes feel like, oh my gosh, Beachbody's caused all these problems in my life. Like, I'm always on my phone. My husband's frustrated with me, and we want to blame it on the business. Well, it's not Beachbody's fault. That's something that you have to work on, and you've got to set your boundaries up with, and you've got to communicate with your family. And sometimes I tell my kids, like, hey, I just need 20 minutes. Let me finish this up, 20 minutes. I'll set a timer, and then I'm off. So I'm setting the expectation, and they're reminding me too. All right, Mom, timer's off. Let's go. And setting the expectation with your spouse as well. Like, I let him know ahead of time when my team calls are going to be, so that he's not wondering, why are you still in there, So you don't need to be on your phone all day. Set those boundaries up. Figure out what your times are to work your business. Personal development as well. I'm going to throw that in there because it was one of the things I thought in the beginning, like, why do I need to do this? But I did do it because I follow the directions. I'm that type of person. Like, you tell me I'm supposed to do something to make me successful, I'm going to do it. And now I really realize how important that is. It's going to give you ways to be able to encourage other people, first of all, on social media, and it's going to put you in the right mindset. All right, so here's a few things just from what I've learned over the years. Sorry. Mom's asking if my dad can take care of the kids because she's running late. Too late, Mom. All right. So let's remember, it's not about you. Have you ever heard this saying about ego? That ego is not just about you being proud. Ego can also be this protective layer that you put on yourself that keeps you from wanting to show the real you. It's keeping from people from not wanting people to judge you. And so we put this protective layer over ourselves called ego. And so we have to be realize that can be there, and then we have to be willing to strip it away. Get rid of your ego whenever you feel like, I don't want to share this because I'm afraid someone's going to think negatively or judge me for sharing it. Remember, that's that ego slipping in there. Get rid of it because it's going to keep you from showing the real you. And remember that when you're sharing, you need to come to a place of belief in knowing that you have a gift to offer people, and it's up to them if they take it. It's not up to you whether you decide to share it with them or not. You really need to open up your heart and share it with them. So get your egos out of the way. Remember that you're on social media to serve and to give versus to get. And honestly, I feel like when we decide we don't want to share with other people, we're really coming from a place of selfishness. So, and I know that sounds harsh, but that's how I feel when coaches are like, I don't want to post. Well, we got to get rid of that ego and do it anyway. But I am telling you you don't need to air out your dirty laundry. I mean, there is something called oversharing. We don't want to be negative. But when you have a tough time that you're going through, don't be afraid to share that with people, but also make sure that you're sharing what you're doing to move past that. And how you're learning through the process. Because we all go through hard times. But as a coach, we do want to show other people encouragement and not be negative Nellies. So I do try to show them how I'm going to move through things. Okay. Also think of social media like a bank account. You need to be making deposits every day through your social media posts, meaning adding value, sharing tips, encouraging people about the why you're working out, not necessarily what you're doing, but why are you doing it, and making deposits in people's lives through connecting with them one-on-one. There's a lot of behind the scenes work that I'm doing, or I'm sure Deidre's doing, that you don't see. It's not just putting up a post and everybody flocks to us. You're connecting with people behind the scenes and making those deposits in their life so that when you are ready to invite them, you can make a withdrawal. Does that make sense? So you make enough deposits that you're now able to make withdrawals through call to action posts, through your invites. And people aren't going to perceive you wrong if you've done the back work for that. You've earned that right. Okay. So, I feel like I'm missing a slide. Maybe not. Okay. But the next thing is making sure that you are just being you. Stay in your own lane. This business, you are your brand. And sometimes we struggle with, well, what is my brand? I don't know what that is. It's just you. It's who you are. And sometimes we get to where we're overcomplicating it. So I'm going to give you guys some advice on how to figure out what that looks like. So this is just a couple of posts of me just showing like the real me, like most of the time my hair is not curled like this, honestly. It actually was washed yesterday, so it's dry shampoo. But that's me most of the time. Like I'm showing up, dry shampoo. I'm like rushing out the door, always running late. My kids often have shoes on the wrong feet. Like, we showed up at Vacation Bible School. We're walking in. I look down at my 3-year-old. I'm like, Brooklyn, your shoes are on the wrong feet. And she tells me she has 2 pairs of underwear on under her skirt. I'm like, oh my gosh. That is how it is because I'm a busy working mom. And so sometimes it is just like we are throwing it together to get somewhere on time. But I share those things because that's funny and that's life. And if people can relate to that, they're not going to relate as easily to perfect. And I've had coaches come on board lately that have followed me, like my Instagram stories. I'm finally starting to gain some traction over there. I'm kind of a slow grower there. But I've asked them recently because they said, well, I've had several people approach me about coaching and I just decided one day I'm going to do it. And I reached out to you and I said, well, why did you decide to go with me? And they say, well, because you're just real. Like I feel like, I see your daily life. It's not showing just the perfect side of things. Sometimes things look so groomed that they feel like they can't do that. And so it's okay to show your hot mess side. It's duplicatable. Just be the real you. So I want you guys to think about the similarities and differences. We're all coaches, right? We all sell Shakeology. We all do workout programs. We're all running challenge groups. Those are all the things that we all have. But you need to think about what makes you different and sets you apart. And these are just some of the things that describe me, like the dry shampoo. I'm a former teacher and guidance counselor from Texas. I have 2 dogs and a cat, mom of 4 girls, military spouse. All of those things describe me more specifically. And then look at your social media and decide, okay, what am I leading with? Are you leading with what everybody else is doing, talking about just, here's Shakeology. Oh, I did 21-day fix today. You need to go deeper than that. That is what your brand is more the things that separate you from everybody else. And then put your blinders on. While I will go sometimes and look at what other coaches are doing to learn from them or to be inspired, I don't follow other top coaches because it can really cloud your, how you're supposed to share yourself. We start thinking, oh, I need to post like Melanie. I need to post like Lindsay. And then you lose sight of who you are. And you really just need to post like you and use your voice. And people really are going to, they're going to see right through that when you try to share the same way someone else is sharing. The comparison trap also can be a distraction on social media and put you into a negative mindset because you're like, oh, why can't I be like so-and-so? Why can't I have a 6-pack? Why can't I be 15-star? And you got to put your blinders on, realize this is your journey. You are here where you're at right now for a reason. All right. And then you've probably seen this before, but I love the color wheel. If you haven't seen it, this is a great way to just start brainstorming different ways to describe yourself. So in each little pie piece, you would put something that's about you. Like I could put, the mom of 4 girls, military spouse, loves dry shampoo. I love shopping at Express, online shopping, online grocery shopping. All of those things are things that I talk about regularly on my social media. Okay. So I'm looking at my notes to make sure I don't leave anything out. And I went way ahead of myself, so I did say all this stuff. Okay. Remembering that social media is also your classroom. I mean, this is where you get to teach others, and it's your storefront. And not just for your challengers, but also for your coaches and your future coaches. So, I always want people who I invite into the coaching opportunity to be able to go to my page, because a lot of people, their concern is, oh, I don't want to sell. I don't want to be that annoying person on social media. And if I can say to them, well, am I that? Like, if you go look at my page, am I doing that? And most of the time they're going to be able to say, well, no. They'll tell me the reason why they liked following me was because I'm not doing all of those things. So you want to think about how you're sharing because your future coaches are watching you and your current coaches are as well. And then thinking about what does it look like when you're posting? Your background, are you using good lighting? Are you using fun filters? Because you do want, while things don't need to look perfect all the time, you do want things to be attractive and scroll stopping, especially on Instagram. Like what makes people want to click on that and read more is that your pictures pop, that it's not, dark and dull. And then making sure that your bio reflects who you are and your brand. I wouldn't even put in there fitness coaching because most people know what that is. And for some people, they just have a negative mindset, whether, while we know it's awesome, other people may not think that. All right. And then the number 3 thing is having a social media plan, making sure that you think about what your objective is for the week with social media, depending on what's coming up. So I think about, okay, if my goal is this week, I need to fill up my coach sneak peek and I want to enroll 5 coaches on my team this week. Well, I really need to have a heavy focus on social media, talking about why I love my working from home, why I love the coaching community, how I love, being able to step aside from my job and go put my kids on the bus in the morning or pick them up early and go to the zoo or something. Those types of things I'm going to be talking about because that's my focus. I know everybody runs their calendar months a little differently. One way that's helped me, and I actually learned this from a call that Melanie Meacher did, but I like to have more of a focus at the first couple of weeks of the month talking about my challenge groups because my goal is to hit Success Club 10, filling up my challenge group as fast as possible. And then I switch my focus more to recruiting and my social media posts start weighing more heavily on the coaching lifestyle. That just works for me. You could totally mix it in every week, both of those things, which I still do a little bit of as well. It just goes more heavy on the coaching side at the last part of the month. All right. So the other thing is making sure you're posting 1 to 2 times a day. I'm sure you guys know this, of value, and your Instagram stories, at least 5 stories every day as well. And making sure that your Instagram stories line up with what you're wanting to share on social media. If you're trying to fill up your challenge group, that you're also talking about in your stories your upcoming summer shred group or back to school boot camp, and that those things are matching, and you can do call to actions in your stories with your polls, or just asking questions, telling them to DM you. It helps people connect the dots. All right. Lastly, remember that the magic really comes down to the connection. I wish I could put up a call to action post or do my Instagram stories and have everybody say, yes, sign me up, which I will get a few that way, but I'm not going to reach my goals if I only depend on people coming to me. You have to get over your ego and just reach out. I mean, how many of you would be here if nobody ever reached out to you? I mean, I wouldn't be here if nobody had ever come to me and said, hey, I think you should do this with me. And so if we think about, how that affected us and what it's done for your life, why wouldn't you want to reach out to them? So making sure that you are reaching out to people, liking and commenting on your posts, that you're building that relationship with them. I love sending voice messages. I know we can't do that through Instagram unless I'm missing something, but Facebook Messenger, I love using voice messages. It surprises people because they're like, oh my gosh, you voice messaged me. Like, that makes them feel special that you took the time to actually talk to them rather than just copying and pasting a script. It means a lot. And I keep note. I hope you track who you're talking to. I keep note of when people are starting new jobs, when they're going to have a baby, so that I can continue to follow up and connect with them and ask them how they're doing as a person. Nothing to do with joining my challenge group or coming onto my team, but continuing to be that friend in their life that shows up. All right. So just to close things out, you guys, I'm just like anybody else. I have made mistakes on social media. I have, in the beginning, if you looked back when I first started, it was stock photos and click the link to go check out the T25 program. I did all of those things. So if you've done any of that, oh well, just know moving forward, don't do that. But we've all done it. And that's okay. That's the beauty in this, is that if you aren't ever making mistakes, you're not moving forward. You're not growing. That is part of the process, and nobody got better at doing anything without looking a little messy in the meantime. And always keep your focus on the mission of serving other people rather than the money. And if you keep your focus on that, I promise you guys, the rest is going to come. So that's what I have for y'all. I hope that was helpful.
That was awesome. Thank you so much. So I took some notes, and hold on one sec. Are you able to stop the share?
Yes, I'll do that. There you go.
Okay. I love so much about it because I feel like there are so many people that struggle because they don't put their blinders on. I think everybody, and I feel like if you're going to say that you never struggled with this, you're lying. I feel like everyone has struggled with comparing themselves to other coaches in the company, because we do want to be good. We want to be the best coach that we possibly can be. And then we see these people going ahead of us that started sooner, and you see people going 15-star, and you see people just hitting Success Club every month, and we're like, why can't I hit it? So I feel like if we can take away the focus on other people, other coaches, and ourselves, and put it on the people that we are trying to serve on social media, like, duh. All we have to think about is them, and not be selfish. And I love that you said about being selfish, because I do say that a lot too. And it's not in a mean way, but like, seriously, if you're here just to make money, you're a butthead. You're here to help people. Like, everyone is here to help people, but you have to take the the worrying about yourself and who's going to look at you differently and who's going to judge you and who's going to unfriend you, because there are going to be people that don't approve of what you're doing, but those aren't the people that are your tribe, and those aren't the people you're supposed to be focusing on. You're supposed to be focusing on the people who need it, and there are so many people who need it. So I love that you said it's not about you, it's about the people, and taking off those blinders, because it's not going to help us in our business at all. It's only going to make it harder for us to succeed.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter what you do in life. You're always going to have people who don't like it. It's not just this, you know, and the longer you do this and the more lives you change, the more confidence you'll have in what you're doing. And, you know, when I do have a naysayer, it's kind of like, well, geez, well, how many people have you helped? You know, like, in other words, like, I help 10, 20 people a month get started in their health and fitness journey. And for them to judge, I'm kind of like, I mean, I've changed a lot of lives, so I'm proud of that. So it's not going to stop me.
Yeah. And thank you for sharing where you started, because I feel like people portray the top coaches in the company like they've had it really easy from the beginning and they didn't struggle as much. So it's just nice to see like you and how real you are and how you did actually struggle at the beginning. And I'm sure being a military spouse and moving all around is not as easy as people may think it is. I mean, I've never had to experience that yet, thankfully, and I hope I don't. But I'm sure it's hard, and having kids and then having to meet new people, and it would be a struggle. And you talking financially about how you struggle too, because I know there are coaches even on here that did struggle even to sign up as a coach. And I was one of those people actually that struggled to sign up. But it's totally worth it if you could just give it all you got and really give it all you got long term. It'll definitely pay off. As you see, Kristen is now multi-six-figure income earner. So, and it's not all about the money, but it should be some, you know, it could be something, because we are here to help and provide for our families as well.
Yeah. And it doesn't happen overnight. And it certainly did not happen overnight for me. I wasn't a six-figure earner in a year or two. Yeah. And I know there are some coaches that have been able to do that, but I mean, I also have little kids, and not that that's an excuse, but it's where I'm at in my life. And I didn't come into the business to work 10 hours a day either. Like, I came into this to be able to work this around my kids and be able to stay home with them. So I've been able to do it consistently over time. I mean, goodness, to take 2.5, 3 years to replace my teaching income, that is not bad, right? I wouldn't have had any of that if I hadn't started. And 6 year, you know, I think I hit 6 figures in like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, something like that. So it wasn't like super fast, but if I'd never started, I wouldn't have had that chance at all.
So hey, question for you. Sure. I just want to hear like how you grew your business. So how long did it take you to go Emerald? It was like 6.5 years ago.
I don't remember exactly. I know that it took me too long. I will tell you that. You know, I started as a coach, and when I was working through my fitness program, I was doing like little free challenges. Things didn't really click and start to take off with me. So I was in it for about 6 months. Like, it took some time for me to like, I don't know, figure it out. And then that's when challenge packs came out. Like, when I first started, we didn't even challenge packs at the beginning. And then since challenge packs started coming out, that really helped me.
You're like your dinosaur coach. You didn't have had challenge packs 5.5 years ago.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how long it's been. But that's when things started to click with me, is like when challenge packs, and I don't know, my belief started to grow. I started seeing people go on that Success Club trip to Disney World, and I was like, maybe I could do that. And so I took off. So that's when I started hitting Success Club 10 as well.
Was 6 months after your
yeah.
Okay. So you probably don't remember when you hit Diamond then.
It's probably like a year later, you know. I have to look back. But I'll tell you guys, and I share this with my coaches, that it took me, I think my first 6 months, I made like $230. That's it. So just to go show you, like, if you're frustrated, a lot of people are moving faster than I did in the beginning. And I remember my first paycheck was like 30 something bucks for selling P90X to my next door neighbor. And I was so excited about that. I was like, yay, someone actually bought something.
I'm so
So
glad that you're sharing this because it's so easy to be like, I should be replacing my Shakeology right now. Like I should be at least paying for that. And people want to give up before that success comes. And I'm just like, I'm looking at you and I'm thinking, you're bringing home your husband from
mhm.
his job and providing for 4 little girls. Like, and you're home now. You're not teaching or being a guidance counselor anymore. Could you even imagine if you would have given up like a little bit?
No, like, I think about that all the time. Like, I don't, our life would be completely different. We wouldn't even be able to think about stepping away. We would be planning for a move again. So it's a blessing for sure.
Deuces.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much. I'm not going to take any more of your time, but I
Thank
really
you for
do
having me.
appreciate you jumping on and sharing all this. So if you guys have any questions, I think we have like 2 minutes left, but there's nothing in the chat. So I think you were perfect. And if they have questions, I can definitely reach out and ask you.
Sure.
All
Thank
right.
you guys.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
All right. Bye.